Hello, hello, ladies. Oh my God, it's been 2 years since you last received communication from me, and I promise you, ladies, I did not intend for it to be this long. Life's been lifing, and this is why we're here. I wanted to create a video to just kind of share with you some of the things that have been happening in my life, and also to have you save the date for Saturday, December the 3rd. You guys, let's get back together. Let's fellowship. Let's connect. Let's bring back Harvest small groups and just connect and talk and update each other on what's been happening with you ladies. So I'm really excited about that. I cannot wait to see you guys. So again, mark your calendars. And there's Princey, my little doggy, for Saturday, December the 3rd. I will send you guys more details, but now I'm just going to kind of give you a quick update, um, and then we'll go from there. So, the last time we got together for a conference was in November of 2018, you guys, and so much has happened since. I'm going to try not to make this a super long video because it just feels like there's so much. But in February of 2019, I felt like the Lord was calling me out of my job at Bloomingdale's. Many of you know that I worked there for a season as as a PR manager, and so I felt like the Lord was saying, "Hey, it's time. It's time to come up out of there." And what He really was saying was, "You shouldn't have been in there in the first place." But that's another video for another day. Um, and so that's what I did. I left them in February of 2019 and just took some time to go see family and spend some time with friends and really just to get before the Lord, come to the feet of Jesus and really figure out what that season of life was really going to look like. And so in that time, I figured, hey, since I'm not working, let me go ahead and connect with my church and see if there's anything I can do for them in that season. And so that's what I did. I went to my local church. Y'all know, many of you know, I go to Victory Church. I love, love, love my church. And so I went over to the church and I said, hey, y'all, I'm not working. How can I serve you? And so at the time, they were rolling out a pilot for kind of what they were calling a bit of a temp situation. They were just having some spaces available for some ladies or guys to come in and temp with our office. And so I said, fine, I'll jump in, I'll do it. And so from February of that year, of 2019 through the end of the year, I temped at Victory. And it was awesome. It was hard. It was beautiful. I got to really see behind the curtain, if you may, on at a church that had been a part of for, I don't know, 6 years at the time, maybe 7 years. And what I think one of my favorite things was that what I loved most about our church as a member and as someone who went there became also what I loved about them being able to see behind the scenes. And it was just their heart to give. They're such a giving church. So anywho, I'm going to go into that can take me down a whole nother road. But yeah, I temped and I got to do a bunch of different things at Victory, from men's conference to our Spanish ministry to small groups. Like I got to get my hands into so many different things. And when it was time to close out the year, I honestly was like, all right, Lord, I feel like, this is it. Like, I'm just going to go back to corporate and just let's have at it. And, I played myself because like I told you guys, I know that the reason he called me out of corporate was because there was more. There was something else he wanted to do with me. And so as we were closing out the year, my prayer really just became, Lord, wherever it is that you want me, that's where I want to be. I'm surrendering it all. I don't want my way. I don't want what I like. What you want is what I want. And so wherever it is you have me next, let's go. That's where I want to be. And I threw myself into praying, into that, fasting, into that. And as we were closing out the year, October, November, I remember people coming to me and saying, oh, this role is available here at the church. You should look into it. And I was like, nah. I've never seen myself working working in full-time ministry. I love what I did here with some temporary work, but I want to get back to corporate. I want to make this money. If I'm real, I was like, it's a church. I don't know that I'm gonna be okay with that. And so I just did not have a desire to work in ministry, you guys. And what I thought was really cool is that when I say within weeks, as I continued to pray, like from from maybe mid to late October through the end of that year, I was just going in. I was single minded in my pursuit of God and of this idea of wherever it is that you want me, my sweet spot, like wherever it is, your sweet spot, really. God, wherever it is that you want me, that's where I want to be. I don't want to be outside of your will in any way, shape, or form. So, as it pertains to my career, as it pertains to how you want me to serve you with my gifts, that's where I want to be. And so that's all I did, pray into. And I was just like, Lord, uh. So within weeks, I just felt like something shifted in my heart. And for the first time ever, working at a church became appealing. Like when someone would say something about it or offer or say, hey, here's maybe a role that you'd be interested, I was like, oh, okay, sure, let's look into it. And so you guys, very, very long story short, in at the end of 2019, coming into 2020, I began to have conversations with some amazing people who, I will say this, your gifts will make room for you, you guys. Like, I wasn't looking for anything. I really was looking to leave the church and go back out here and work somewhere outside of the church. But your gifts will make room for you. The Lord will expand spaces and territories for you. And so that's what I experienced. I was approached by one of our pastors and was like, hey, I'd like to talk to you more. I've been hearing your name. And so began to have conversations. And at the beginning of 2020, I took on a role part-time at the church. And so it was really cool. Leadership development, got to do some awesome things with leadership development within the staff, but also within the congregation. And then March came along and the pandemic hit, y'all. And things got hairy, but just God was good. Has been good. Um, and continues to be good, honestly. And so many different things happened. Just me being in ministry for the very first time in the middle of this pandemic. And I don't know, 5 or 6 months later, promotion hit, and I was now doing another role. And you guys, so many things were happening. And I'm trying not to make this a 20-minute video because it can be. But I will say that in that time, though I was doing things that I had never really dreamed of doing and that were completely outside of the scope of what I had done in the past, which was marketing and public relations. I knew that I was exactly where the Lord wanted me. And oh, the joy and the fulfillment and the peace in that was just, I had never experienced that before. Like, I know I'm exactly where I need to be in this season of my life. And that was beautiful. And so we are in 2020, and I want to say sometime around the spring, I began to have these dreams. And I had these dreams for about 8 months, most of 2020, and into 2021, like maybe January, into the new year. And in this dream, I was always in an airport. In an airport, it didn't look like an airport all the time, but in these dreams, I knew I was in an airport and I was waiting and I was traveling or trying to get somewhere, and almost like hustling to try to make it to my gate or make it to this place, but it was always in an airport. And I just, had no idea why I was having these dreams, but they were consistent. And so later I learned that airports typically mean a season of waiting. And so in January or February, then I had another dream that my senior pastor had called me into her office to show me. She wanted to show me some remodeling that she had done, and I was like, "Oh, sure." So I come into her office, and then she shows me this closet, and in this closet, it's like a nursery, and I mean, just beautifully set up, and all these new items, and new clothing, and a crib, just so many beautiful things. And I remember waking up from that dream and thinking, she is either pregnant naturally or she is pregnant with something in the spirit, because I was so overwhelmed and just taken by that dream. Like, it was just so powerful that when I woke up, I was like, she's pregnant with something. And so maybe 2 months after that, I get a notification from her assistant that she wants to meet with me the following Sunday. And so I'm like, why does my senior pastor want to meet with me? Like, so I'm thinking, I'm like, what did I do? Did I say something? What did I do? And so you guys, that weekend on Sunday, I meet with my senior pastor, as well as our campus pastor at Norcross, and which was a location that I was had attended for many years and was serving at. And so the conversation was about how my senior pastor had this vision from the Lord and desire to establish a women's ministry at our church, a global women's ministry. And she'd had this vision for many years, and now was the time where she felt released to really launch this out. And so, oh my God, what a wonderful, just everything that she'd shared. I was so excited, and I'm like, yes, how can I serve? How can I help? Like, sure. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know why they're asking me, but I'm going to help. And in that, I remember her saying, with all of this, we actually want you to be the women's ministry pastor here at this location at Norcross. I'm like, y'all, I'm looking behind me like, who's she talking to? Because I'm like, a pastor? Like, who are y'all talking to? I remember in that moment, and even after it, the Lord really ministering to me and being like, my daughter, you have pastored women for years. You've walked with them, you've encouraged them, you've shepherded them, you have been with them, cried, like you've been with them for years. And I began to think about you ladies. I began to think about Harvest and the work that we were doing together, and how we were walking with one another and doing life with one another in community. And y'all, I just wept. I wept because of the goodness of God and of his faithfulness, that when I had no idea, when I had no desire to go down the path that he wanted me to go down, that he was still gracious and good and faithful to get me to where I needed to get to. And so even with that, like, even as I'm saying that, like, I had no desire to work in ministry, but what I did have a desire for was to be in his will, was to be exactly where he wanted me to be. And so y'all, yeah, I over the last year, I have served as the women's ministry pastor at my church at Norcross, or at the Norcross location of Victory Church. And it's been amazing. It's been hard and beautiful and weighty, and just, it's been an honor and it's been a joy to walk with the woman of Norcross. And so, yeah, that's where I've been. That's what I've been doing. And I wanted to share that with you guys, and I just wanted to encourage you to keep going, to keep pushing, to submit yourselves to the Lord, y'all. To really submit yourselves, submit your plans, because he has you. He has your best interests at heart. He has good plans for you. He has good plans for you. And so, yeah, you guys, that's what I'm doing. But in the midst of all of this, I really feel like it's time for us to get back on track, to get back together, to get back to community, to get back to seeking God's face and seeking his truth. And I'm really excited again to gather with you guys on December the 3rd. And so, oh, I cannot wait to see you, to hug on y'all's necks, and to continue to update one another and to catch up. So I love you ladies so very much. It is a joy. It really is a joy to do life with you, get back to it, and to walk alongside you. So I will see you guys very soon. And until then.